So the hands of the 5 leaders will be imprinted there, and thereafter they will be taken to Maruping, and as a demonstration that we are linking the present with the past, but at the same time we're looking for a brighter future. BRICS countries, we should not become mere adopters or observers of new technologies. We must instead ensure that the needs of our societies shape the technologies that we develop in our various countries. We must ensure that mastery of the 4th Industrial Revolution does not become the exclusive preserve of just a handful of countries. We must promote inclusivity, diversity, and cooperation.
You still have the continent that hasn't really fully gone through the 3rd and the 4th Industrial Revolution. As the world moves into the 4th Industrial Revolution, Africa has to leapfrog into the 4th Industrial Revolution. That requires massive injection of capital into education, into health, into infrastructure development. And the 4th Industrial Revolution will move on efficient data and internet, of which Africa doesn't have sufficient infrastructure to allow a conducive environment for the 4th Industrial Revolution to take place. And therefore, there's more work to be done, where you see glimpses of hope, whether in Kenya with PESA, you see in South Africa, quite a number in Nigeria, a lot of innovative African initiatives who are starting small businesses. I think more capital is needed, and education, and laws that protect startups, and governments supporting the initiatives to deal with the high unemployment in these countries. The world at large, and BRICS countries in particular, cannot afford forging ahead, leaving behind a number of countries and people are still marred in poverty, and therefore there is a need to have a collective position in ensuring that the rule-based world order remains intact. Globalization process that has made some of these improvements moves ahead undisturbed, no trade wars and no hot wars deal with peace and security in the world. In that sense, indeed, we would then happily say we are living in a golden decade. Peace, stability, and move in unison around key policy certainty, investments in infrastructure, investment in people, education, regional integration, protecting the environment, ensure that you have good governance, a good legal policy framework, a regulatory framework that allows investments. So these are key issues that one expects BRICS countries and the extended BRICS Plus to live with and to work together, ensuring that their interaction brings maximum results. firstly, no one wins in any trade war. And far beyond that, it is consensus built within multilateral structure, multilateral forums, that brings peace and security, consensus building, and unity among nation states. And if we move in a world order where multilaterals have no meaning and you have unilateralism, this is a recipe for war. It's a recipe for global disaster and destabilization, and it's not going to hurt only the United States and China. It's going to hurt everyone else in the world. So it is critical to strengthen multilateralism and bring world peace.
We wish to express the really great and outstanding work that you've done by putting into the whole process of promoting partnerships and developing networks across the business communities of our respective countries. Today, as you present this report to us, this is clear proof of the work that you've been doing through your various working groups, and we thank you for that, for the dedication and all the hard work. Thank you very much once again. We now move on to another report from the New Development Bank, and it is my pleasure to welcome the President of the New Development Bank, Mr. Kamath, to present the report on the activities of the bank. Mr. Kamath.
Tima, Your Excellency President Vladimir Putin, Your Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Your Excellency President Xi Jinping, Excellencies and distinguished guests. I'm honored to report to you on the progress made by the New Development Bank since it began operations 3 years ago. The bank is now fully operational and is in a rapid, though prudent, growth phase, building on the strong foundation that has already been laid. Thus far, the NDBA has approved 23 projects for about $5.7 billion to our member countries. These projects now go beyond the core renewable energy sectors that we earlier focused on into areas such as rural roads, ecosystem restoration, water supply, particularly in rural areas, irrigation system restructuring, and energy conservation, reflecting our ability to appraise increasingly complex projects as we continue to move up the learning curve. Almost all of our lending supports sustainable infrastructure and development. By the end of this year, we expect the total approvals to reach US $7.5 billion. In 2019, we are targeting incremental approvals of about US $7.7 to 8 billion. I know that it is an ambitious target, but we will strive to achieve this target. We have begun our non-sovereign operations with loans approved in Brazil, South Africa, and in Russia. NDB has thus far received US $4.1 billion in capital, including advance payments of the fourth installment by China and Russia. We thank these countries for the same. We expect to receive the balance US $900 million for the fourth installment by January 2019 on schedule. Consistent on-time receipt of capital is a strong vote of confidence in the institution and is being positively recognized by the capital markets. The bank's Africa Regional Center in Johannesburg that was opened last year is now fully operational. The ARC, as we call it, is the face of the bank for the African continent and will progressively support a growing range of our work in a very short In a very short period, the ARC has been instrumental in giving us an insight into how the bank could be most effective in South Africa and has enabled us to scale up our lending in the country. We will build on this in the coming year. We will take the lessons learned from the ARC to the Americas Regional Center in Sao Paulo that we expect to open later this year. Next year, we hope to receive board approval for a regional center in Moscow, and I hope that by this time next year, that center would also be operational. NDB continues to enter into and build on formal cooperation agreements with many global, regional, and national institutions. These partnerships are enhancing opportunities for the bank's learning. We will leverage them to promote South-South cooperation. Since the beginning, getting the right staff in place has been a priority for us. Our recruitment strategy is based on the principles of meritocracy and gender neutrality and takes into consideration the landscape that we operate in. Our current staff strength is about 115 professionals, and we propose to have about 210 staff by the end of this year. We believe that blending the vigor of youth with the wisdom of seasoned professionals is the correct approach in keeping the organization agile and nimble in the dynamic global development landscape that we operate in. On the funding side, we plan to raise about $1 to 1.5 billion through local currency and hard currency bond issues in 2018 after obtaining our credit rating. We propose to issue our second renminbi bond issue later this year. Considering the demand for local currency financing in South Africa, we also plan to tap the rand bond market in the coming months. We firmly believe that local currency funding and lending will play an increasingly important role in the coming years. In due course, we will tap the bond markets in our other member countries to meet the demand for local currency funding. We will continue to be guided by the Board of Governors on our future plans, including admission of new members. We stand today at the dawn of a new industrial revolution where technology-led disruption is transforming the way we provide products, services, and our physical space. NDB is well aware that sustainability issues and disruptive technologies are now at the forefront of policymakers' minds. Rapid technological change is impacting almost every area of human life. These changes have far-reaching consequences for businesses, economies, industries, societies, and individuals, and require new ways of thinking about development. We are geared to fund conventional infrastructure as well as to harness transformational technologies in the service of development. Besides the traditional set of lending products, we'll also begin offering non-fund-based financial products such as guarantees and credit enhancements in the coming year. We will work at speed, scale, and make a positive difference quickly and effectively. Excellencies, we at the NDB are energized and excited by the possibilities of the future. We are confident that the bank is now well on its way to establishing itself as a reliable partner in the development journey for member countries. Anchored by the vision set forth by our members, we will bring finance, technology, and knowledge to bear on key developmental challenges, and will work with our members for the benefit of their citizens and the world. Thank you for your attention and continued support.